Welcome back to Citizen Sleeper. I think this time it's actually the last episode. I faked you guys out a little bit, little pump fake. Um, yeah. Hope the game isn't too loud. I didn't check the previous recordings, so sucks to be y'all. What did I have to do? Just wait. I don't remember. Oh yeah, I have to wait for this. I have to wait for this. Okay, so I have to complete the stuff on the ships. So this is almost done, and they're mad at me. Oh well, what about this? I can just put a 4. Okay, I can finish both. Alright, let's see what happens if I do this. There's a loose crowd around the supplies you have unloaded, and a tense mood brewing among them. You sit nearby on the edge of the shuttle's docking tunnel, resting. Further away, crews from Ember's Song continue their lives as usual, coming and going, trading, discussing. There's a quiet efficiency to the hub, set up as a common space for the swarm of small ships from Ember's Song that are part of the flotilla. Unlike Heart of Steppe, there's no one capital ship for the moon's refugees. It's just a massive individual traveling. It's a massive individuals traveling in concert. We told Hart we didn't want their scraps. A jeering voice comes out of the small crowd nearby. Peter. You turn to see a gaunt, pale man wearing the industrial work gear you have seen many the Song refugee wearing. You hear me? Let's rage bait him. Stay silent. We agreed to join the flotilla for joint protection. We did not agree to Ember's Hearth using the flotilla to secure their control of the moons. We realize Peter is addressing the crowd as much as he is addressing you. With the cordon down, our crews are more than able to acquire what is needed from the Eye, what is owed as restitution for keeping us restrained. He pats one of the crates you unloaded. What we need, we will take. I have no stake in this. Then why are you delivering supplies for Hart? Peter laughs. Need to check your alliances, Sleeper. Peter looks around the crowd. Hart thinks they can buy us, but we remember the past. A rumble of agreement for the crowd. Runs through the crowd. He smiles at them. Take the supplies if you wish, of course. Take the supplies if you wish, of course. We're not wasteful. Peter approaches you directly. The crowd tentatively moves forward, and by the time he reaches you, they're already dragging away crates and distributing the contents. I'm not one for shooting the messenger, Sleeper, says Peter as he approaches, but we cannot concede to Hart here, not for a moment. I don't understand. I can see that Peter sits beside you on the docking tunnel's lip. What was your plan, Sleeper? Unload the supplies and wait for someone to start throwing them back at you? He nods at the crowd rifling through the crates, because that's not what was about to happen. Not sure about that. Peter shrugs. What do you think happened to the crew of the shuttle? He shakes his head. They were chased out of this place. Why do they hate Hart? We, Peter says with emphasis, do not hate Hart. We simply do not trust them. Do you know anything about Ember's Moon, Sleeper? Or were you planning to wander into this flotilla totally blind, an objective outsider offering help? He rolls his eyes. Educate me then. He smiles. It would be my pleasure. I'm going to assume you know the basics. The gas giant Ember has 7 moons. The 3 biggest are Ember's Steppe, Ember's Song, and Ember's Heart. He winks. We can cover the 3 sisters next session. Steppe was the first to be settled. A contract old Solheim gave to the terraformers. Cybele System. When they first claimed the Helion systems, that's way back when. Steppe was a testing ground, and like most testing grounds, it didn't turn out too well. A partial atmosphere slowly sloughing off each orbit, a dysfunctional ecosystem, and a whole load of dust-clogged settlers. The place is a miserable desert long past its best before date. So Sibel, moved to Hart, where they redoubled their efforts. The subsurface ocean and some balmy tidal heating helped, allowing them to build a real atmosphere or real habitable world, a fact that the typical Hart colonists won't ever let you forget. How did Sibel achieve such a thing, you might wonder? Well, that's where we come in. It's that it's that same old rule of surrogacy, the one humanity built around our universe. The one humanity built our universe around. Peter claps a hand to his chest in mocking pride. My moon, Ember Song, is a sulfur-soaked rock covered in volcanoes, tidally heated by its inner orbit to sweltering temperatures. Exactly the kind of crucible you need to fuel a terraforming project. Energy, industry, fuel, Song provided the raw materials for art. Peter grimaces, willingly or not. And a crucible requires people to run it. Us singers, born into the flaming pit and asked to stroke it so others might live in a paradise in the making. That's what we had to endure until Solheim brought everything down. Peter rattles off his speech from memory, and you wonder how many times he has delivered it. No Solheim, no contract, no Sibel, and no Sibel means 3 moons suddenly independent. Peter shakes his head. It was a war, Sleeper. Sometimes hot, sometimes cold, and unsurprisingly Hart and Step came out of it better than us. Yet, Peter holds up his hand, they need us. They need a Sleeper, always have, and so we are the linchpin. We are the center around which the moons orbit, not swirling ember. We've resisted takeovers, sieges, and expansions, and now we'll resist this. Half the people on these ships think the flux was caused by Hart, intentionally or otherwise, and I have to say, some cycles I agree. So before you come here and hand out supplies like a good soldier, maybe educate yourself. Shaman Song. Peter bristles. I want you to imagine what it is like to try to live on an airless volcanic rock when every system that sustains you starts shutting down. He spits and wipes a sleeve across his mouth. We abandoned nothing. Some stayed, others left. We will reclaim Ember as soon as the flux fades or ends. We've weathered worse. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Don't you need supplies? As I said, we will take what we need when we need it. Peter stares out into the axis. There is no authority that we recognize here. I won't keep you from docking access, Sleeper. No one here has the authority to do for that. But watch yourself here. Try to remember that the Eye is just another in the long list of people who have tried to control us. I understand. Peter nods and let it guide your actions. Peter says, look, we are many and we have many needs. Ships come to this docking access for repairs, for requisitions, for friendship. You can provide these as well as any singer. If you want to help in your own name. Sleeper, not in that of Hart. Peter shakes his head. Carry that name here and you will lose all trust. But as we are, act in your own name alone. Peter puts out on your shoulder and stands. I hope I didn't just waste my time here, Sleeper. And with that, he walks away back to the shrinking crowd that is distributing the last of the supplies among the crews present. You watch them pass the food and water between them, no signs of conflict between the crews, just a careful distribution of resources. Peter chats with a few crews, each of them casting looks in your direction, ones that reveal little about Singer's intentions. You stand, it seems, the tension on the flotilla run much deeper than you expected. This won't be easy. Ship mine, oh my god. The character seems so like brain dead. He's like, we don't need any help. We do whatever, we're independent. And then 2 seconds later, he's like, well, if you want to help, he won't say no, but like doing it in your own name because we don't like the heart. I see you've been contributing. Aki stands next to you as at the dust house window. I was unsure what to expect when we joined the flotilla on this voyage to the Eye, but after the journey across the system, then the quarantine, then the flux reaching all the way out here too, Aki stops herself. Thank you, she bows a little. The other ships have only been interested in sending us supplies, but we grow all we need. She gestures at the dust house. What the dust house needs, that is the problem. What the dust houses need, that is the problem that concerns us. She smiles and turns to you. Shall we go inside? Is it safe? Aki rolls her eyes. Come see. She taps away at the panel by the window. Seems only fair that after your help with the support systems, you get to see what it is you are maintaining. Aki leads you to an opening besides the window. You pass through a dark changing room. You notice Aki is sliding on an oxygen mask and a visor. She looks at the swirling dust inside. Inside is just like Ember Step. Thin atmosphere, constant dust storms, and nothing that will bother you. She passes you a mask. The dust isn't exactly pleasant to inhale, however, so take this. You hold it to your face. She leads you through a short decontamination tunnel with its fizzling panels and purifying light, and then through into the dust house. Immediately the wind and the heat hits you. You feel the rough waves of dust scattering across your face and peer through the amber murk. Your feet slide on shifting piles of sand. Welcome to Step, or an emulation of it at least. Aki's voice sounds distant, echoey. The terraforming process only managed to provide a limited atmosphere around the moon, one which is slowly escaping. It's been like that since I was born, so I got used to the idea. You catch her bright eyes through the amber dust. So did everything else that lives here. You feel something hard beneath your feet, beneath the sand, like a coil of rope. What is under the sand? This is a steppe silk. It's one of the plants we established on Step. She kicks away some red sand. Like any bast fiber, it can be retted and woven into clothes. I'm wearing some made from it myself. It's one of the many species adapted to Step since the Solheim collapse, which is why it must be preserved. She stares out into the swirling dust. It is as much a refugee as we are, and the dust house holds hundreds of other species. You look at the pale, unassuming root threaded thickly around the sand. Aki watches you silently. Had enough? It'll be easier to speak outside. Aki leads you back out through the decontamination tunnel, which blasts the dust from you both with a burst of metallic tasting air, and into the changing room. Aki hands up both the masks, patiently waiting your questions. What happened on Ember's Step? Aki pauses, pulling her shawl around her. She looks small and pale inside its layers. Step was already a doomed world. She sniffs. When Solheim gave the terraforming contract to Sibel, they believed they could build an atmosphere, but the moon's erratic orbit made it impossible to maintain. By the time of Solheim's collapse, the atmosphere was already fading and Sibel's attention was on Ember's heart. After the collapse, Sibel fell too, its researchers scattered across the moons and any central organization lost. Since then, my parents' generation worked tirelessly to survive, to adapt what we had to the failing moon. The steppe silk, the other adapted species, are the life's work of the steppe's colonies. So when the flux started to collapse our computer systems, corrode and destroy our life support, our water supply, our agriculture, we had to leave. Aki sits heavily on a nearby bench. Soon the only traces of Steppe will be on this ship. Aki begins to cry quietly. You aren't sure what to do. So besides her, you sat on the bench beside her as she sobs. As she sobs. My God. Besides her as she sobs. You understand why this ship, why the refugees from Steppe are so different. Their world was already dying when the flux arrived. Amber Steppe is a terraformed moon, a partial atmosphere, established colonies, agriculture, and yet when the flux event started, its people had to leave. You think of the eye and the delicate web of decaying systems it rests upon. What hopes does a ruined station have against a wave that corrupts, corrodes, and collapses? Aki interprets your thoughts, rubbing her eyes. Not everyone left. There wasn't room to take all the people and fill the dust houses. My parents, their friends, and many others stayed. She sniffs. We carried a step for them. For them. Perhaps there is hope. We learn not to talk of hope on a dying world. There is meaning for them and any future they can build with the time they have. She stands up. I wanted you to understand the importance of these dust houses and what they contain. She leads you back into the corridor. Yeah. If the flux events continue to reach out to the eye, we need to build protections to ensure their safety. Iki meets her eye. I can help. Aki smiles weakly. I knew it. You will be welcome on the wind's long shadow, whenever you wish. These dust houses are already decaying. I have seen it. She stares into the dust. We thought that they would last longer, but the last flux event, Help us, Saki looks at you, please. I will, maiden, I will help you, tips Fedora. When you are ready, we will begin the preparations for reinforcing the dust houses. We need to be ready for the next flux event. Aki's eyes shine with the last of her tears. She takes a breath. I will see you soon. Aki drifts away from down the corridor, leaving you all alone once more at the viewing window, watching the ragged, delicate traces of the moon known as Ember's Tub. Preservation. Okay, well, that's gonna be easy, bro. So there's stuff to do here. Stuff to do here. Stuff to do here. Alright. So I need to harvest some mushrooms. Alright. Guess I'll do that next cycle. I should probably go eat, huh? Let's go check if I can buy a ship mine. Yeah, I think I'll just have to straight up buy it from here. Ugh. Buy ship mine core. Wait, what? Yeah, that's expensive, bro. What the fuck? Anyways, I don't gotta buy it now. I don't have to buy it now. But I also wanted fungi spores, which I have. Okay, I see. Let's sleep. Not the best rolls, but whatever. Alright, let's harvest these guys. Yeah. Yeah, okay. These rolls are not great. Collect spores. Let's see if I'm lucky. Yep, I'm a lucky guy, what can I say? I don't even know if this is worth it. Because the two random rare mushrooms, quote unquote, is gonna be one this and one Matsuka. Okay, so that's one dice for how much? I think it was like literally one. So is that even fucking worth it? No, I don't think so. Because I get a +2 here as well. Oh fuck. It's a different clock. Oh no, that's not a different clock. Why is there like a line here when it doesn't even like whatever. Okay, I'll do this later. It's in like fucking. Alright, these guys want. Here you go. I'm gonna ship mine. Okay, sure. Take all my money while you're at it. Oh, I think I'll input this. How much? Oh boy. This is gonna take a while, bro. Nice, okay. Kind of speed ran that. Holy. Let's sleep. What? Who wants to speak to me? I remember. Probably here. Yep, Lem and Mina. The crowds have already gathered by the time you get to the shipyard, and you recognize faces among them, people you have worked alongside on the side reel. The intervening cycles have turned their excitement to anxiety, and few of them smile at you. Instead, the nervous energy of the crowd fills the space, creating a feedback loop of growing tension. Ooh. You pick out Lem and Mina and work your way over to them, pushing through the crowd. He silently raises his eyebrow at you, his anxiety obvious. but Mina flashes you a huge smile, unaware of the tension. Robot, she shouts, reaching out to you. Hi, Mina. She waits, frantically grinning. Quite the turn on, huh? Lem glances around, pulling Mina close. I don't think patience is one of this crowd's strengths. The sound of an argument towards the back catches your and Lem's attention. He is putting it lightly. This place seems to explode. I'll manage them. Lem looks around nervously. I sure hope so. This is Aster Engard of the Seelys Foundation. The announcement echoes from the speakers and the shipyard entrance. Shouts of quiet rapidly follow. I'm sorry I can't be here to meet you all, and thank you on the behalf of Centre Seelys for the work you have done on the Sidereal Horizon. Most of the crowd strains to see Aster's face, but the small display shows only a ghostly white figure smudged and unclear. Centre wants to meet her on her personal things. Sond wants me to pass her personal things for your commitment to and belief in Seelys Foundation's mission. We chose the Eye for this project because we knew that we would find like-minded individuals here, especially among the ranks of the Venerable Havange Association. Like most of the Corps, we need our belief early inside to be a threat or a rogue state, but instead an embryo for the formation of new, decentralized social structure. One where each citizen might be the master of their own destiny. A ripple of impatience runs through the crowd. They didn't come here for a sermon. You're all pioneers, just like those core citizens who the Sidereal Horizon will carry. In cryosleep to the planet that will become the Foundation First World Seelys One. At the mention of the Desolation World, excited conversations break out among the workers. Cryosleep. I get it now. There, our citizens will be able to create their own innovative bottom-up economic order, aligned with principles set down by Centre Seelys herself. Freedom, resilience, and self-sustenance. This is all thanks to your tireless work in the Havange arts. As a reward for those efforts, you may know that we are offering a select group the opportunity to join the caretakers of this vision. The staff of the Sidereal Horizon will maintain the vessel during its multi-decade transit through interstellar space. So we're not cryo-frozen, I see. Lamb turns to you, his eyes bright. This is it? This draw has been formed at a random by central AIs of the Foundation, and is final and binding. Please note, only licensed contractors of the Foundation are eligible for this draw. I know you have all been eagerly awaiting this day. Without further delay, I will now read the Seelys identification number of those chosen for this great honor. A murmur runs through the crowd. Seelys identification numbers, licensed contractors. You have never even heard of these terms. The term mentioned. Is this something you were supposed to be assigned? You glance at Lem, but his eyes are fixed forward, wide and shimmering. All around you are people speaking in hushed tones like a rising wave. Aster starts reading out sequences of numbers and letters, and panic begins to set in. No one wants to know what is happening. No one seems to know what is happening. Somewhere near the front of the crowd, someone shouts in celebration, and everyone pushes forward. Lem? You turn to see Lem, and staring forward. Mina is scared as the shouts start. Daddy? Someone throws something at the entrance and it rattles against the shipyard door. You see for the first time Havange security stood on either side, scared, arguing between themselves. You feel the anger rising in the crowd. Lem, let's go. He doesn't move. They might call out names. I can't. Biga tugs on his dog tags. It's not happening. Lem blinks rapidly and then turns to you. He opens and closes his mouth, looks down at Mina. He sees the fear in her eyes and understands it's time to go. You lead Lem and Mina out, shoving people aside. As you do, you hear the sound of scuffles emerging at the front of the crowd and metal canisters bouncing off the shipyard walls. You keep your head down and walk away, the sound of Aster reading off ciphers echoing above the chaos like some strange mantra. You turn to Lem. There are tear tracks running down his cheeks, and Mina is sniffing onto his jacket. You feel the sadness rising in you too. They screwed all of you. You were never even on the list. The feeling is as unpleasant as it is familiar. You stare ahead into the tunnel as the security sirens sound out a signal for the coming violence. Drive failed? Hey, what do you mean? How'd I fail the drive? Did I completed it, no? We were just fucking scammed. Did we have to stay, maybe? Wait, let me Google this. What the fuck? Huh. So basically it's okay, I didn't do anything wrong. Okay, I thought maybe I did something wrong. Just we got scammed, we never stood a chance, bro. What the fuck? These fucking scammers, what the fuck? I built that fucking ship. Never trust the French, bro. Wait, I can speak French, but I'm not French. Wait a second. All right, let's go help these fuckers out. Yes, I think I'm gonna put the oh yes, I think that I'm gonna roll the dice. I'm gonna complete this. Is it done? No. How many fucking? You and Aki stand side by side at the viewing window. In silence, the dust swirling, and you glimpse the twisted root system of the step silk through the oak. Ugh, what the fuck are these words, bro? The ochre haze. After all these cycles, you feel a strange connection to a world on which you have never set foot. Aki shifts from foot to foot. She seems restless, eager to speak, but unsure what to say. We did it. Aki smells at you warmly. We did. She pauses and turns back to the window. What is the value of all this, she asks suddenly, of preserving a world we have left behind? Aki is silent for a moment. Our practices, our lives regard the materials, the patterns that step provides, but if those practices remain unchanged while the universe around them shifts, are they already dead? She pauses. What is better, to preserve at all costs or to allow things to be destroyed by change? Aki paces away, lost in thought, half philosophic. I'm grateful to you for helping protect the dust houses, for ensuring their slide into decay is delayed, even averted, but now I find myself at an impasse. The stability of the dust houses changes things. It makes me aware of how blinkered we have been. Blinkered. Aki stops to look at you, her posture somehow different. If the ecosystems of Steppe, if its people cannot grow to meet the future, why preserve it? She frowns. Are we just slaves to the preservation of what came before? Not slaves, inheritors. Aki nods, but the weight of this inheritance is heavy. Aki comes close, holds your hands in hers. We must change to live. She smiles. I have seen that in you. The Steppe, these people, the ship, should serve more than heritage and history. They should serve the future. She takes a breath. There are those in the flotilla that need clothes, they need food, that can benefit from the gifts of the Steppe's ecosystem. I want you to invite them. Can you do that for me? Of course. I know that Soul sent you, she smiles. You can tell them Aki, captain of the Windlung Shadow, invites all the people of the flotilla to come. I will. She nods. Aki steps away. You want to know about the flux, no? About its purpose, its origin, she smiles. If you wish to protect your home as we could, not. I'm afraid I don't have much to tell you. It is an exotic wave of sorts, as an energy that passes through matter. It shifts the very charged particles which run through our electrical systems. It is possible to shield against it as we would radiation, as we have done with the dust houses, but only while it's weak. The flux event here was much like the first ones felt on Amber Steppe, localized, destructive, but bearable. But in time, its strength grew, I don't know if it will be the same here, but she pauses. It is coming from the center of the system, from the close orbit of Helion star H1. That is all we could uncover. She is silent for a moment, unsure what to add. I'm sorry I cannot offer more, but you are always welcome on this ship. She smiles. I hope I will see you when the others come. She squeezes both your hands. I hope the ship, these dust houses, can be more than a museum. I hope they can be a home. With this, she turns and leaves, and you feel the word home resonating with you like a struck bell. Ding! 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 Okay, this is just pay to win. I gotta put a ship mine call. A ship mine call. I guess let's go fucking buy one. Oosh! Flux node. What the hell? You greedy folks. Whatever. I got some flux. I got some flux. Let's go buy a ship mine. Damn, that was half my money, bro. That is fucked up, bro. What the fuck? As you cross the axis looking for a shuttle to take you As you cross the axis looking for a shuttle to take you back to the ruined cordon, you spot Peter standing at the edge of the central hub. Something about the way he is leaning against the rail, looking down across the axis and toward the blinking lights of the flotilla beyond makes you pause. He is completely still, his head drooping low and his shoulders hunched. You lean on the railing a little away from Peter, leaving a gap between you. This close, you can see the blank stare in his eyes, the way his hands hang limply in front of him. He takes a minute to notice you. Sleeper, he inhales sharply, still hanging around, trying to be useful. Peter smiles a tight smile but doesn't turn to face you. That a sleeper thing needed to be useful? It's a me thing. It would make sense. Peter closes his eyes. Tools need to be used. What's with you? Peter stands back from the railing. Who invited you, sleeper? Who said you could come here? You think because the Harters decided to name you their errand boy we have to put up with you? We don't want you here. We don't need you. His eyes burn with rage. Go home, you stupid machine. A second after he shouts that final line, he collapses in on himself, staying upright, but all the energy going out of his body. He slumps back against the railing, his eyes closed once more. You wait. After a while, he speaks. I'm tired, sleeper. Tired of everything. I'm tired of empty paternalism of the heart. I'm tired of the paranoid whining of the crews. I'm tired of the endless cycles that look the same, smell the same, feel the same. I'm tired of running, of hiding, of fixing every shitty thing that breaks out here. His shouts echoes a little in the hub, but if you stop to look, he looks down at his feet. I get it. He either nods, I'm sorry, sleeper sighs. Something is just, I don't feel okay. I'm just tired. I think, really tired. He stands, I'm going to go. He looks at you and sniffs. Get some sleep. Sleep well. Peter nods, slowly turning away. He raises a hand and drifts away towards the center of the hub. You turn back to the railing, not wanting to watch him go. Seeing him like this, you prefer not to stare. The traffic of the axis rumbles as you watch under an endless shining sun. The same air recycled through all these lungs, the same dust gathering speck by speck on the windows. You take a sharp breath, stand straight, and get moving before the inertia of it all gets to you too. There's more to do. What the fuck, bro? Let's input the flux data. Zoop. Sleeper, come look at this. Peak is poring over one of the displays of the makeshift decoding suite that they have set up in the Climbing Briar's cargo bay. On the screen, a clump of data pathways like an ingrown root ball has started to untangle. This is an existing node corrupted by the flux event. It is totally twisted up. They glance at you to check you are listening. But inside, you watch the unwinding pathways leave behind patterns of negative space, like shadows staying behind despite their caster leaving, is a whole other data set. Peak's eyes shine bright in the pale screen light. The flux event somehow seeds this data deep into the gaps in the node, wrapping them around it. It's in there. Not sure, Peak frowns. It isn't being very cooperative. You watch the screen, the pattern of shadows becoming obvious now as each layer of pathway is pulled away. The flux event itself really did a number on unprotected nodes like this one. Most of the eye systems are screened against radiation interfaces, but these exposed nodes, Peak makes a ripping motion with their hands torn apart. Peak points to a fake tangle of threads on the screen. Look here, it looks like it's been tangled purposefully, but it's actually that all the points within the node have been randomly rearranged. It's as if the node was a bag of ball bearings and the flux shook them. The pathways tried to account for the rearrangement once the systems came back on, hence the tangle. Peak pauses as the node continues to unwind. Although Peak muses, it was less like shaking a bag of ball bearings and more like making them all simultaneously occupy a superposition of every possible position in the bag before locking them back into a new configuration. They smile sheepishly, but that's a technicality. Does any of that help us? For now, not especially, it explains the damage the flux does to systems, but the method is an exotic one. Peak runs a hand through their hair. What we need to know is what is causing it and where is it coming from. Peak turns away from the screen, meeting your eye, and there is something else. They pause. Have you spoken with the refugees? A little. Peak lowers her voice instinctively. What they are reporting: massive system failures, cascading collapses of life support of terraforming systems, total data corruption. Peak swallows. The flux shouldn't do that. It can fundamentally rearrange the structure of systems, especially those poorly shielded, but total collapse, heavy-duty industrial systems, failsafe and all? That doesn't make sense. Those kind of systems are built for deep space, for solar flares and radiation. The flux might penetrate them, but any reconfiguration should have been repairable. Peak looks back at the screen where the decoding node lies almost fully open. A shadowy pattern of negative space that existed within its scrambled interior darkens the screen, like a set of bruises showing the pattern of the object that made them. I need to look into something. I have an idea that might be causing the wave. Triggering the flux, I need time to research it. Can I help? Peak shakes his head, their head. I'm sorry, Sleeper, but I want you to keep this for myself for now. If you need something to do, the flotilla could surely do with the help. From what I heard from Mesh, things are tense here. I'll look into it. Good. Peak sounds distracted. Give me some time, Sleeper. Peak turns back to the console. I have some answers. Soon enough, I hope. You take one last glance at the uncoiling node as you leave. The dark shapes it leaves behind somehow troubling. You try to shake them from your mind. There are things to be done elsewhere. Alright, let time to go eat. Sleep time. More food. All right. Sleep again. Eat a pill. Wow, what amazing rolls I got. Holy. Bumbleclot. There we go. Sleeper Peter calls to you as soon as you cross the axis. He's standing by the seam railing as you saw him last time, and he beckons you to come over. I've been hearing things. He gives you a sidelong look. Good things? Peter smiles, mostly. He rubs his hands together nervously. You wait for him to speak. You know, on song, I was a teacher. He glances at you, anticipating a response. Really? Peter sighs, don't sound so surprised. Mechanical engineering, it's an essential subject on a moon where a single mechanical failure could mean the death of hundreds. He looks at the ground. The heat, the atmosphere, the radiation, all of it is hostile to us. My students knew this. Their work, their training was respected as long as they were careful and respected song themselves. They could have their choice of colony placements. They were always in demand. That means I was respected, surrounded by friends and colleagues, always able to call in favors and repay them like for like. He frowns. Some colonies are small, close-knit. We look after our own. When the flux events started hitting colonies, when colonies went dark overnight, we all knew that those kind of failures meant, like always, we lost more people than any of the other moons. He balls his hands into tight fists. Not a single one of my students left Song. Our future was cut off just like that. My future? He flexes his hand. What am I out here for? What use am I? Song is a fading memory, and the system we build there are useless outside its orbit. How am I supposed to move on from here? He looks at you, eyes steely grain glinting. Find someone to teach. Peter pauses, thinking. You don't give up, do you, Sleeper? You just keep going. Peter shakes his head. You remind me of a student of mine. One who entered the program from one of the smaller colonies. They didn't have the advantages of some of the others. They were stubborn as hell. By the end of the program, they were the most skilled of their peers. They didn't get the best assignment, maybe because they didn't spend as much. They didn't spend. Maybe because they didn't spend much time making the kind of connections that would help you get there. But that didn't matter because I knew they would make the best of anything they set themselves to. Peter's smiling now. Booyah. What the fuck are these words, bro? Booyah. Boo. Oh. Boo-eyed. I don't fucking know, man. Up a little by memory. Singers are stubborn, Sleeper. We aren't going to change easily. We won't forgive easily or take help easily, but we'll hold strong. You can count on us for that. Peter stands from the railing. When you see Soul again, you can tell him that you can tell him how the crews of Ember's Song operate. Tell me we'll resist. If that means resisting hard imperialist ambitions, so be it. If it means resisting the Flint, so be it. If it means to, as you have to help others resist the same pressure, so be it. Peter smiles and tell him to leave us alone. He turns his step lighter and heads off towards the center of the Axis hub. So now all that's left is this. Yeah, okay. Alright, sleep time. Almost done here. Active scenes? What the fuck? Here? No, okay. I'm guessing it's back there. There it is. There is no answer when you buzz Lem's unit, but the door is open. You push the door and find Mina sitting in the middle of the floor playing with Bun Bun. Where's Lem? Mina doesn't respond. She walks Bun Bun across the floor, narrating quietly to herself. You look around the unit. It's a mess. Dishes and glasses on the side. Some of Mina's clothes pile up in a corner. Mina is sitting by her bag, which is spilled out across the floor. Her drawing slate cracked and dark. Tidy up. You start with the kitchen units, piling up the dishes in the auto wash and wiping them down. You pile the clothes up next, folding them neatly. Mina watches you quietly as she plays, curious but silent. You've just started to look at fixing her cracked slate when Lem enters. Sleeper, what are you? He pauses and looks from you to Mina and back in. Never mind. He drops the bag out by the door and slumps on the couch. Where were you? Lem ignores your question, asking one of his own and said, what are you doing here? Mina's not supposed to let anyone in. He glances at her disapprovingly, but she shoots back her own angry look. Look, now's not a good time. I want to help. Unless you have a sidereal ticket or two, I don't think there's much you can do here. He pinches the bridge of his nose. You understand they never even put us on the list, right? I've been all around the rim looking for work, but I've run into more than a few from the crews. It turns out Any long-time Havage members were issued those Celis ID numbers. They never planned to consider us. Wow! What the fuck, bro? Haven Age says they didn't know what that was about. What that was, they were going to use to make the draw. And who knows, maybe Celis pulled the wool over their eyes. But what does it matter? All those hours in the yard for a hand-to-mouth wage and nothing else. He slams his hand down on the sofa. Are you giving up? Lem opens his mouth to respond but stops himself. He looks at the open door again. They are moving the side rail up the hub now, you know, he says without meaning your eye. That's where they'll depart. They're bringing it in on a ship of all cryosleep pioneers and transferring them up there in microgravity before loading the crew. Bro. All I'm saying is someone should blow them up. We can steal a ticket. Lem laughs. There's no tickets. I was joking before. Just those ID numbers coded to someone's identity. No stealing that. He looks over at Mina. Look, we'll be fine. We always have been. I just need a little time, he says. We had our hearts set on that trip is all. Mina comes over and claps on his lap. He smiles. What if I got you on board? I miss you these past few cycles. I miss that optimism. Lem strokes Mina's hair. Look, you want to go up to that hub and ask around, be my guest. I can't get up there with Mina down here, and I'm sure the side rail will bring in a crowd. But be careful, this kind of thing always attracts scammers and thieves. You find any way on board, you take it. You need help together, ask me. But for now, me and Mini here are sticking to the eye. She looks up at him and smiles. Thanks, Lem. No, thank you, Sleeper, for coming by. You stand to leave, and Mina grabs your hand, here to give you one more smile. Then you're out back into the walkways of the low end, already thinking of plans to make this right. And how are we gonna make it right, bro? I didn't even need to do that. I could have used a lower dice. Soul finds you deep in the layer of the Pilgrim Seed, working on a patch for a life support vent. You hear him coming, his suit hissing as he does. I had to ask around to find you, he smiles. Seems you know the place better than me these days. Doubt it. Soul nods. I was on the work crew that built this thing, so maybe you're right, he winks. Soul holds out a hand. Stand up and let me see you. He pulls you to your feet. I don't believe we ever had a sleeper on the Ember's heart. So Soul looks you up and down. You sure do make me wish we could have done with a few workers as good as you. Thank you. Soul nods. You're welcome. Seems like I owe you some answers, seeing as you've been working hard on the Pilgrim Seed these past cycles. He leans against the crate, his suit creaking. What do you want to know about the flux? Soul sighs. That's what I imagine. He scratches at his beard. I can't say I'm an expert, but I can tell you what business on heart. At first we ignored it. A few farms had their automation system blink out. Lifers suits locked up. Bots reset their schedules. Nothing we hadn't seen before. But then the news came out of Basuro that they'd been hit harder. The local network had gone down and no one could get it back up. It was rough for a while, but out in the farmland we were used to that. Capital of the heart. Tens of thousands of souls made it their home. Soul grimaces. Anyway, we thought the flux was a freak event until the day they got the network running again. That's when the cascade happened. System after system corrupted, data lost, and then another flux hit, and another. The bots were running in circles in the field. People had to be cut out of lifter suits like mine. And the city, I never saw it, but I heard from the others. Soul shivers. It only got worse from there. We couldn't seem to fight it. It cut us right open. That's what I know about the flux. Some folks say it came from the inner system, that it might be connected to some old tech there or something, but I never heard anything more than rumors. Soul scratches their beard. Sorry, I don't have better news. Soul shifts on the crate. Anything else you wanted to ask? There was something. Soul nods. What do you want to know about Ember's heart? Sure, he smiles. I mean, I spent my whole life on that rock, so I have plenty to tell. I'll save my life story for another time, he winks, but the short of that is the first of Ember's moons, the biggest and the most populated, which is down to the successful terraforming systems Sibel set up back when Solheim owned the system. How are relations with the other moons? Small smiles. Depends who you've been talking to. You shouldn't mistake me for a politician, Sleeper. That's for others to do. He gives you a look. But Ember's Step was a test ground for terraforming tech that Heart is built on, while Ember's Song was the extraction site for the raw materials and energy needed to make it work. You can imagine that might lead to some tension. However, Soul holds up a hand. Despite that, people might say Heart was never fully stable, Solshika said. Sibel liked to talk it up, but after they pulled out and Solheim left, our people discovered that they'd have to keep the systems running themselves or the place would soon end up as dry as Steppe. Heart was as good as the evaporators kept running, kept filling our skies with clouds. Even after the collapse, our people kept those things going, turning the subsurface ocean into a periwinkle blue sky. Soul smiles. Flux ended that though, and when they failed, the rain failed, the harvest with it. Soul pauses. And soon you have a city without a way to feed itself, Soul shudders. That's when some of us, made a decision to set out on this place. He gestures at the pilgrim seed and look for the future. Soul shakes the crate. Anything else? Might as well ask you. Soul squints, you want to know about me? I'm not sure that was part of the deal I was thinking of, Sleeper. Unless you're asking about this. He wraps on the metal of his suit. In case you haven't guessed, this is the only thing keeping me vertical. He adjusts a shoulder piece. It's a lifter suit made for working the fields. We had to modify it so I could walk around after the accident. And that's all I'm saying, Sleeper, because to be honest with you, I don't owe you more than that. You want to know about the flux, about Ember's heart? Go ahead. Don't pry into my life, and I won't pry into yours. So the silence sits, staring hard at the floor. The suit seems to loom over him, looking more like a burden than a support. With the bars around his head, you suddenly start to think it as a cage. Look, I don't mean to be rude. Let's leave it there. There's too many eyes on me on this ship as it is. I'd rather just slip into the background. Thank you very much. Soul shifts. Anything else? I'm good for now. You sure? Soul smells. I'm sure. Soul stands flexing against the suit. He takes his cane in his hand. Keep it up, Sleeper. He smiles and leaves. You're making me think I need to start making new plans for this place. If that Soul leaves, you wonder what he means as he creaks away down the corridor. You can't help but feel there's more to him than it seems. When you arrive on the bridge of the pilgrim seed, Soul is waiting for you. You wouldn't believe the message that have come through the past few cycles, Sleeper. He smiles. The ship from Steb has sent a goodwill gesture, a whole cache of supplies from their own farms. He smiles. I'm not sure how well we'll use them, but their gesture is a welcome one. Sog, meanwhile, are apparently accepting supplies again, although a little reticently. If I may say so, Soul smiles. I don't expect them to change anytime soon, it should be said. And what I'm wondering, Sleeper, is what part you had in all of this? So lies you waiting for an answer. I helped where I could. I've come to expect that of you, Sleeper. He smiles. You look at Soul, his eyes bright and eager. You wonder what he sees in you. Are you a tool to be used or an ally? It can be hard to tell. I want to show you something. Soul squeezes your shoulder, turning you to face the lift. He leads you along the axis of the ship towards the engines, the clanking of his suit accompanied by the constant hammering and welding that fills the echoey bulkheads of the pilgrim seat at all hours. With the cordon lifted and shuttles able to go out to scavenge scraps and barter for supplies, the ship has become a place of transformation, moving towards some state yet to be revealed to you. You look at Soul. What is his plan here? What is he preparing on the pilgrim seat for? Or are his sharp eyes simply focused on making it for the next cycle? Suddenly Soul stops in front of a huge bulkhead door, like the seal on the front of a dry dock hangar. He signals to someone in a cabin high up attached to the wall, and they begin to process of opening it up. Fuck, my voice is my throat is hurting again. The amber warning lights on the bulkhead door send spinning shadows across Soul's face. We built it to ship the entire harvest from thousands of farms to the silos at Passerolles. When we realized we need to leave, it was the biggest ship we could muster. Soul wraps on a metal plate, and somehow she carried us all the way out here. We? Farmers mostly from outside the city and the edges. He flexes his shoulder beneath his suit. We saw it coming first, I guess. He knew it was time, others didn't want to believe. I was a farmer, had a whole load of land and people to run it, and my people helped convert this place for a long trip. He looks at his feet. Others led organized the evacuation and debated the plan. What happened? Not one of those folks made it, Sol rubs his forehead. We were out in the black a long time before we got here, Sleeper. Things happened. The upshot is, I was chosen to take over. I guess my crew trusted me and I knew the ship. I argued, reminded them I'm no leader, that I'm sick, but, well, when service chooses you. A loud klaxon sounds indicating the bulkhead doors are ready to open. They groan as they slide back, the metal squeal echoing through the vast ship, bouncing off its hard-plated walls. At first, all you see is darkness. When the lights go on, and huge strips that stretch back and back as far as you can see. The space in front of you, a vast bay bigger than any have ever seen, is empty. When we left Hard, we didn't have the time or resources to convert the entire ship. Sol begins to leading you into the massive space. So much of the fright space was sealed away, shut down. But now we have time, we have resources, we stabilize here. At least for the moment, Sol turns to now it's time to make use of all of this. What are you planning? What do you think happens next for the Ice Sleeper, Sol thinks? The flux has already hit one part of the station, and from what I know, it'll hit again on Hard. We lost everything. There isn't much time, Sleeper, but there is enough time to do something. Think of the number of people we can fit on here, the farming stacks, the housing, hell. We can plant some of those mushrooms you love so much. This is the way forward, the only way. We need to fill the ship with able bodies, and for the starboard belt? That's the name of the second game. No, starboard vector. Whoops. I thought that was your destination. It was until the flux hit here. Now it's just another stop. I'm glad of the chance to resupply and salvage, but we need to go further. I want you to help me. You know the eye. You have connections, and you can work hard. I've seen it. Sol Misra, I know you are like me, Sleeper. You didn't choose the service. It chose you. There are other ways. If you know them, go ahead, but I'm telling you this is an opportunity we have now. I know it's a lot to think about, Sleeper. Trust me. Sol begins to lead you back out the bay, but I think we can do here. Think of what we can do here. The flotilla can last longer. We need more than just farmers to make this work. We need to build a new world for ourselves. I've heard that out there in the Bell, there are people who've been setting it up since the collapse, making something of their own. That's our future, tucked away in those rocks, far from all this. Sol sighs. I didn't bring my people here just to let them die somewhere new. Sol crosses back over the threshold of the bay and signals for the operator to close it. The door groans and Sol waits for it to stop. Think about it, Sleeper. Sol claps an arm on your back. But don't wait too long, this is happening soon. And he leaves you there in the silence of the vast bay and your head spinning with the thoughts of leaving the eye. Wow, did some upgrade points. So I think now I just wait. There's literally nothing else to do. Literally nothing. Literally nothing. Yeah. I haven't traded with this guy. Castor. I guess I'll... Oh, there's more flux nodes. He wanted Haven Age data, right? Let's give it to him. I'll need to do 3, because I get 2 for each. One more. No, that's Yatagan. That's Yatagan. What the fuck? Did I get scammed? Now we're really in the end game. It's a waiting game. Feed the stray as always. And let's end this cycle. Haven Age. Haven Age. Or is it Havenage? Who knows? Certainly not me. Let's go trade with that guy, because I never traded with him. Oh, this gives stabilizer. Oh, this gives a ship mine. I didn't notice that before. Huh? Oh, well, that's interesting. Okay, cool. Is there literally nothing else to... Oh, what the hell is this? Smiley. Is there actually nothing else to do? I just have to wait. Oh, there's actually nothing else to do. I guess I'll do the flux nodes because we'll probably need that again. He's like, bring me more flux nodes because who knows what I'll find with the flux nodes and the fluxing and the flux nodes. It's fluxing all over me, bro. What the fuck is this? Oh! Well, there's a new clock. Alright, let's eat and sleep. And there's a flux node as well. Can I eat here? Because I'm too lazy to go down. Away on board. Well, 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 Caster. Quite the achievement, isn't she? Centre Celis must be proud. You recognize the resonating voice of Caster immediately and turn to see him. Hooded and tucked into the shadow near the viewing platform. Caster. I see you remember our game. Good. He looks around but the platform is clear. I'm afraid you'll have to wait for a rematch. Microgravity makes Tavla a little difficult. He smiles broadly. Caster walks out to stand beside you on the platform. The telltale clunk of magnetic boots accompanies his low crossing. He notices you look at them. I don't much like it up here, he explains. I hear there was some trouble at Haven Age shipyard when they announced the results of the lottery. They screwed us. I know, he sighs, meeting your eye. An ugly business. Celis are too used to the way things work in the core. Exploitation is the only logic they know. He gestures out to the side rail. You know why they build this monstrosity on the eye? Patrol. Certainly there is no corporation oversight here. That's not all. He stares at the pristine yellow hole. Celis built it here, Casual, because they didn't want anyone to know it exists. He rubs his forehead. And secrecy is something I cannot abide. He turns to face you. There are people being loaded onto that ship as we speak. Sleeping people locked in cryosleep, like the person that you were emulated from. There are hundreds of them, and Celis wants to send them out to a planet at the edge of the settled systems without anyone knowing where it is. But you sleeper, you can do something about that. You're like me, you deal with data. You can read it right out of the air. With someone like you on that ship, secrecy isn't a problem. You can ping whatever I need, whenever I need it, as long as you're on board. With you on the side rail and with some minor modifications, he pauses, you can be my eyes and ears. I will keep track of this Grand Op project through you. In short, says Caster stretching, I can get you aboard, sleeper, but I'm going to need you to help me. Who are you? I'm concerned party. Someone who likes to know what is happening when it is happening, not afterwards. It's not just me. Yes, your friend Lamb, that can be arranged. It is difficult, but not impossible. The condition is, of course, that you go too. I'm gonna scam his ass. I'm not going anywhere, bro. Castor clunks closer to the window, watching the tugs wheeling around the side rail. It's a simple offer, and the only one that will get you on that ship. Please consider it. He turns back, so against the ship. But to make it happen, I need your assistance. As I said, there is a Celis Foundation ship docked in the now empty shipyard. I need the data from its service. This will allow me to produce the IDs necessary for your transit. Castor looks over his glasses at you. Celis aren't stupid enough. Their ship is totally isolated from the station. You'll need to get on board. You need to get on board if you want to access their airwall servers. Once you have the data, meet me at your friend's unit so we can give him the good news. He smiles. I noticed his importance to you and little one. So cute. You don't extract the data before the Sidereal Horizon leaves the hub, then I will get the message. We have other options, but you are certainly my preferred one. But be sure when you act Sleeper, once you take data from Celis, you'll set off a series of events that will likely be hard for you to entangle yourself from. Either way, I recommend you stop asking around. Up here, you'll be bringing a lot of attention to yourself. Castor glances around as if to emphasize the point. There are only a handful of cycles until departure, Sleeper. Make your decision. With that, Castor marches back off the platform, the sound of his back boots fading away, leaving you to contemplate the sidereal horizon and part of may play in your future. I'll just get Lem on board and not go. Get scammed, bruh. Is this the ship? What a stupid fucking looking ship. Am I right, boys? Arr, arr, arr. Oh, that was a critical action. Brrr, what the? Brrr. Extract Celis data. How about... whatever. I'll do it. Is there more? No. Castor, little shit. When you arrive at Lem and Mina's unit, Castor is already waiting outside, leaning beside the door. Forgive me, Sleeper, but Celis is already buzzing with news of the breach. I was expecting you. I don't like you tracking me. That is unfortunate, Sleeper, because that is exactly what I will be doing for the foreseeable future. Well, we'll see about that, bitch. Castor reaches into a pocket and produces a sleek green white hand terminal. The data, please. What is that? Something acquired from Celis while you were busy on that ship. Castor pushes up his glasses. I haven't been waiting for you the entire time. You hand over the drive with data, and Castor finishes around for a converter cable to hook up. He slots it in the terminal, and after some wiring, a set of 2 transparent films marked with numeric sequences are produced. 2 tickets to an uncertain future, Castor smiles himself. The child will go with Lem, of course. He pockets them. These are yours, but first he holds out a white cube. Your side of the deal. What is it? Something to help us make use of you. He passes the square and you rest it in your palm. A small, white, perfect cube. Suddenly you feel a sharp pain and flinch. The cube jumps from your hand and rattles along the walkway. Look at Castor apologetically. Castor smiles. Not to worry. It has done its job. Now it is for you to do yours. You look down and see a tiny pinprick in the center of your palm. Nothing sinister. Castor pulls the terminal away. This way you can keep track of you and the sidereal horizon. I didn't read this. You that Sleeper. Castor does his glasses. You have to understand that I could have done this without you knowing. This way everything is on the table, so to speak. Castor hands you the transparent film and you see shimmering portraits of you and Lem flickering beneath the surface. Go, give them the good news, and he reaches across and buzzes the unit. Lem slides the open door, how dressed in his gray. Sleeper, what brings you here? Come in. He beckons you inside. You look to the side expecting to see Castor, but the wall is empty. The unit is cleaner, better organized than the last time. Lem sits on the fin bar and gestures for you to sit. Mina's with some local kids. Someone has started doing lessons down the way. She seems to like it. Lem is concerned. What's up, Sleeper? I have some news. Our fit, Lem laughs. I have silly ideas for us. You have how? He blinks rapidly as if to wipe you from his vision. Does that mean? Yep. Lem stands up and paces around the unit. We have to pack. He starts laughing. Holy shit, we have to pack. Turns back to you smiling. How the hell did you swing this? I made a deal. What deal? What a deal. Color and bring impressed. You show him the ID films and he whistles at the portraits. Impressive stuff. He pats you on the shoulder. You should stay until Mina gets home. We can tell her together. I have to go. Of course. Well, if you need to do anything, give me a shout. He smiles warmly and then impulsively hugs you. I'll see you on the big day, right? Take care of the passes. He laughs at nothing in particular. You get up and go looking one last time for Caster as you exit the unit, but he is still gone. And when you look, the cube doesn't seem to be where you dropped it. You walk back for the low end. It sounds muffled and your ears deep in thought. Can I remove that shit? The running game. Running, I'm running. Damn, I have a beautiful voice. I should sing more. Ready. They call me. Actually, no one calls me, bro. My phone drier than a bitch. Sad. If only I had a baddie hitting me up. Oh well. You can't have it all, bro. You can't be a failing YouTuber and have a baddie. You know what I mean? Have you ever heard of Khan Channel, Sleeper? Peek asks you as soon as you enter the bay, as if you were in the middle of a conversation. These are there are heavy circles under their eyes, and you aren't sure if they've moved since you last visited. The console they are working at seems to have grown too, shadowing their slight frame in a wealth of screens and wires. Khan, you mean for transit? Yes, exactly. Peek turns to face you. Kalmani's active negotiation, the name of the effect used to transport trillions of tons of materials from the surrogate systems to the core. You might have heard of it in your physics classes. In the XPR, they hammered the principle into us as kids. KAN. Peek recites the definition as if in the classroom. A process of collapsing spatial causality along the Euclidean distance between 2 points by negating mass simultaneously at both ends of a geodesic curve. What the fuck does that mean? Essentially, CAN channels allow for the near instantaneous transport of raw materials between systems. They require huge volumes of energy, of course, and decades of construction, but once a CAN channel is established, it opens a system for infinite exploitation. Infinite exploitation? Elon Musk! Where are you at? The backbone of surrogacy is what XPR called them. Peek shakes their head. They might not be able to send anything more complex than a rock through them. Complex machines and people are, shall we say, reconfigured by the process. But for raw molecular pure materials, Peek flicks a hand, whoosh. So your research, Peek pauses. What I was trying to find out was whether the Helion system, the system, ever had a CAN channel. KN channels are vastly expensive to build, to run. Not every surrogate system has one. Many use fraction drive ships to transport their materials to the nearest hub. But to Solheim, Peek smiles, Solheim spared no expense when they established the system. No way, yep. Peek's eyes light up. They shut it down before the collapse. They couldn't run the sender-receiver station anymore, but it was there. It still is, and as far as I can tell, closely orbiting our star. Our star. In fact, Peek grins, they've been building to this, I'm sure it's still there, because one of the issues with CON channels was that the massive waves of exotic energy they could produce when cycling up the flux. Exactly, Peek's face suddenly drops. Someone is starting up the channel. Who? Peek sucks in a breath. That I don't know. They start counting off information on their fingers. They need a lot of resources to do it, and they need to have people from the core systems. There's no real large-scale extractions in the Helion systems anymore, so why would they go to the trouble? Just to trigger the flux? Peek rubs the red eyes. The flux, the wave, the con effect produces is a side effect, a problematic one, but it isn't a destructive force. If it was, the core systems would have never been able to use it. So then why are colonies collapsing because of it now? Because of it. Why is it triggering through systems, the kind of industrial system set up to function within the range of once activating CAN channel? Peak is getting frustrated. The moons of Ember have been terraforming since before the collapse. They would have had to deal with the flux. Yet everything we have heard from refugees say it brought down every system they had. Peak falls quiet, thinking. I just farted. Thinking it all through, your mind drifts to thinking of the CAN channels, those vast causal highways that prop up the core systems and their endless appetite for resources. The system had been quiet for decades. Solheim collapsed. Most corporations gave up their claim, and apart from the sealess ships that came to begin work on the Cyril horizon, no one from the core has come here in a long time. And all that time, you shiver as you imagine the attention of the core, the system of logic exploitation that created your suffering, turning towards the Helion system. A floodlight turned to this corner. A shrill bleep catches your attention, and Peak rushes to a screen. One showing a crude map of the station. On it, individual markers begin to flare up in insistent chirps. Peak looks puzzled for a moment, and then their face drops. No, they lean in. This doesn't make sense. What's happening? The flux nodes are appearing elsewhere on the station. Peak pulls their hair. I set the system to alert me if other flux nodes near the epicenter of the flux event, but these are everywhere. The hub, the low end, the shipyard. How can this happen? The only reason we saw flux nodes here is because it is the most run-down part of the station. They were barely shielded, but others appearing so far after the event. Peak turns to you. You're going to need to get me that data from those nodes quickly. I already did, bro. I'll keep looking at what I have here, but I need to know why they're popping up. When I can. Quickly see I mean it. We can talk more about CAN channels and system history when you're back, but this needs our attention right now. Peak turns quickly back to the monitor, their eyes following scrolling screens of codes spring from the newly fluxed codes. You leave quickly but struggle to shake the image of the spotlight from your mind. You feel watched as you cross back into the pilgrim seat on your way to a shuttle bay. You hurry onward, eager to outrun the fear. Hey bro. Luke, I have all the data already. Pre-fired it. Boom, boom, boom! Peak, bro, I'm just goated. You might be peak, but I'm the shit. Bars. I'm gonna pause the recording and go grab some tea. I'll be right back. There was no tea. I thought we had tea, but there was no tea. So I made myself a drink, a glass of water. Seeing the data like this as an image on a screen is an almost unrecognizable representation to you. It is nothing like swimming among nodes and threads. Despite this, Peak has proven themselves to be more than capable to handle these complex data structures, even though it is this limited representational paradigm. The bay door hisses, interrupting your flow of thought. You turn to see Ash entering. Rough day. She looks up and meets your eye, but doesn't respond. Ash stalks into the bay, head down. She looks tired and not in the mood to talk. How's the weapon hunt? Peak asks, without turning from their screen. Slow, unsuccessful, tedious. Ash slams a bag down on a crate and hops up to sit on it. You're still unpicking balls of yarn? With the sleeper's help, Peak smiles. They brought me some good stuff this cycle. Maybe they could help you find the weapons you were smuggling. It's clear to Ash she doesn't appreciate Peak's tone. Peak holds up a hand. Shh. They lean in towards the screen. Son of a... Oh no. They hit it in the wake of the wave. Peak is whispering to themselves. It's alive! They lean back into the chair. Ash crosses over to look at the screen. Alive? Well, it's growing, it's processing, it's quietly working away in the dark. Look. You cross over the screen and stand beside Ash. In it, you can see that Peak has all 4 nodes decoded, and the pattern of a shadow from inside them sits on the screen like dark stains. Where's my cat? Bunga. Oh, I thought he was in my room. Oh well. Then you notice the movement, the thin thread across the thin threads cross from one stain to another. As you watch, you notice that the movement only ever happens in your peripheral vision, as if this thing, the shadow, knows it is being watched. Right. This is how the other flux nodes appeared. Peak rubs their eyes. They weren't fluxed by the wave. They were corrupted after the fact. This thing, the shadow that entered into the wake of the wave, it corrupted them, but it made the corruption look like the result of the flux. It's a sleight of hand. Peak runs a hand through their hair. Through their hair. Their hair. Wow, that's a tough one. Their hair. I love your hair. Their hair. Okay. The flux wave is so massive, so complex, that it opens up the system to be attacked. As it reconfigures exposed systems, this shadow is broadcast in and planted inside. The wave from the Khan channel, it is a brute force way of hitting every system in Helion. Once the systems are vulnerable, Peak will expel, their eyes reflect on screen. The flux isn't what it's attacking. The flux isn't what is attacking the systems. It is the siege weapon, a Trojan horse. Then this thing takes over. Peak sits back in the chair. That's already on the eye. That 100% destroyed your ears. My bad. Wait. Ash rubs her forehead. Wait, you're telling me there's a con channel in the system? Shit, Peak isn't listening. This is bad. We have to take this to someone. Peak looks at you. Why Soul? What the fuck is he gonna do? Probably Helene because it's on the eye. Is that wise? Ash cuts. Haven't exactly made good decisions lately. They're the station's administrators, Ash. Peak is desperate. They need to know. Darkman races between them, and as you watch them shouting, you feel sick. After a while, they stop running out of things to say, and unsettling silence descends on the bay. I need more time, Peak says quietly. I need to look at solutions, try to build a case, collate the evidence. When we mess this up, they look down at their hands. Ash goes to speak and then thinks better of it. Not a word, Sleeper. Peak meets her eye. Don't tell anyone until they're ready. They say, with the tension among the refugees, Soul won't be ready to hear this, and Helene and Havage are still mired in some kind of crisis. Until Havenage, they are likely to react badly, and even with the flotilla stabilized, Soul is not about to react well to this. I need to build a case. You're too twisted up in this, Peak. Ash says quietly, this is not our place, we don't know. Stop, Ash. Peak stops over in their chair. Stop. You leave them like that, exhausted and troubled, and you head back into the pilgrim scene. When you close your eyes, you think of those shadows, the movement at the edge of your vision, something dark growing in the station like a parasite. You feel your vision blurs. What comes next? You stop in a corner and take a break. Take a breath, putting a hand on the rumbling metal wall. For now, the eyes keep spinning for now. What do I do now? I just wait 2 cycles? Episode Refugee complete. The second part of Flotilla story is complete. Episode Purge, the final episode, will begin when the clock below is complete. Good luck. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Let's get engineering +2. Oh, I'm an engineer. Yo, I'm actually fucking geeking right now. My bad. My bad, pimp. Hey, pimp, my bad. Apologies, pimp. Apologies. Apologies. Apologies for my manner of speech. Either be on board or not. Okay, whatever. So I just what? I just wait. Okay, I guess I'll just tag my money. Should I steal the last one? See what happens. Why not? Let's do that. Let's have some fun. Imagine I just die and lose the run. Wait, what? That's it? I thought something bad would happen. Literally nothing. Just got 2 scraps. Okay, what a sham, bro. What a shamalama. Okay, I guess let's stack money, bro. Actually, maybe they need mushrooms, bro. Oh my god, you guys didn't think about that. Maybe they need mushrooms. How much money do I get from working for a little bro? 20? 20 cryo? That's okay, I guess. Pretty sure I can make more money for selling Yatagan bullshit, like the data nodes. Oh, the data! Next cycle, that unlocks. Maybe we're gonna need fungus. Am I right, guys? We're probably gonna need fungus, no? Fungus. Fungus. I'm not escaping on that fucking side rail, bro. Fuck that shit. Fuck that shit, brother. What was I gonna do? Wait. Oh, that's into it. Never mind. Boom. Yatagan agent. Hello, Yatagan agent. Give me my money. Oh, it's only Yatagan agents that give us money. I don't remember that I can sell the Haven Age stuff. No, right. I think there's only 2 that recycle, so. Yeah, these are Haven Age? Yeah, okay, fuck off. Give me my money. Give me my money. There we go. How much money we at? Boom. Okay, we made some money. And I can get even more money, but I'll get my mushrooms first, because we love mushrooms, don't we, guys? Let's also. Let's also make ourselves some more stabilized. Actually, let's wait. Maybe we need these. Well, let's also take a stabilizer and get started with 5 dice for whatever is happening next. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm ending the playthrough on this run, even if it takes a bit more time than usual, let's say. On this recording, the game ends. Sleeper Peak is waiting for you in the corridor. It's time. Peak looks pale and disheveled, with heavy marks under their eyes and strands of hair sticking from their face to their face. For what? Peak smiles weakly. Nice try, but we can't touch this. Peak holds a thumbnail-sized drive. All the data I have compiled on the flux event, the effects on the wave, and the structures that hide within it is on here. Look on the tiny drive, a casket of dark secrets. If annotated to the best of my ability, I've annotated it to the best of my ability. Anyone should be able to understand the threat, the potential in this. Peak size. It makes me grim. It makes for grim reading. Grim reading. My God. Without intervention, the eye will suffer a cascading collapse of system, just like the colonies of Ember's moon. Intervention. Peak Grim says, "That's what I'm still working on." Peak looks at this drive. This shadow in the flux, this protocol is so hard to pin down. It adapts to any countermeasures. I've tried to deploy. It is like trying to hold water in a cage. It slips straight out, straight through. There has to be a way. Peak closes their hand around the drive. We need help, Sleeper. This is about everyone on the station, Desai. We have to set up a meeting to tell someone who can do something about it. Really? Perhaps pauses if anyone can protect the its Haven Age. But their internal politics will make it hard for them to act. Will they even listen to us? Perhaps softly, we've been thinking about this all wrong. Peak's eyes glint. Why make a choice when we can tell both of them? Why pick a side when the only side in the entire thing is one we all need to take? Peak speaks as they think, their words barely keeping pace with their thoughts. We need to resist this together, or we will fail. We need someone on board, Sleeper. Peak smiles. That is the only way. We send the data to both. You're right. Peak smiles. I'm glad you see it too. They look away. Another flux event is coming, I'm sure of it. And I'm not sure we can survive without help. Peak opens their hand and holds the drive out for you to take. You need to do this, Sleeper? I can't. You know Soul? You know Soul, you know Helene, they trust you. To them, I'm another spacer, but you are part of this place. Hearing someone else say it hits you hard. You're part of the eye. Peak is right, but right now it feels more like a weakness than a strength. If you have set up a data relay on the coordinate, it's neutral ground. I've set up a take the data and send it out to Havenage and to the flotilla. Once they receive it, they will come. We can be sure of that. You will meet them there and take them through it all. No one could do a better job. They took. Just trying to behind their ear. Come with me. Peak pauses. I can't. I would only draw suspicion on you. Havenage wants nothing to do with us, and Soul is paranoid at best. Peak tenderly puts a hand on your shoulder. Thank you, Sleeper. I know this is hard, but we have to move forward. We can't keep this to ourselves anymore. They step back, looking thin and pale in the harsh station light. Come talk to me once it's done, and they slip away to the eye. What the fuck? This is the end of the end. Should I still? Ah, my fucking head hurts so much. What the fuck just happened? What the hell? How much time do I have to wait for this fucking stupid ass? Okay, let me just. Okay, look. Let me. This kind of ruins a bit of the punch, but if I can't say no to this, I'm gonna be so mad. Can I? Citizen Sleeper. Oh, and also, okay, I just realized that the game lets you... Fuck, I could have had all the achievements. I don't really care about achievements, but bruh. There's, like, every achievement has... Oh, bro, this game. Because if you make a choice to leave, you get that achievement, and then apparently it puts you back, like, if you didn't make that choice. Okay, well, let's do this. Let's do this, not go. Oh my gosh, I just have to like just do nothing for a bunch of cycles. Oh, that's gonna be so fun, bro. This is so fun. I love waiting. Should I even fucking like... Yeah, I guess I'll just like be here and spam this to make money. In case we need money for the last thing. That's gonna be okay. I think I'm dead. I was just gonna pause the recording. This is not gonna be a fun watch. Alright, guys. I did some boring shit. Basically, I just kept spamming the Bliss workshop, eating food when I needed to eat food, and now we're on the date the thing leaves. So I amassed a nice amount of money. I'm not going with them. I don't care about humans. There's a crowd, but you spot Lem and Mina immediately as you enter the dock. They're waiting at the cordon. Where the Cellus security are checking the crew in to board the ship. Those that manage to get up the hub are crowded near the entrance, but even they know their chance of getting on board has long gone. Lem spots you among the crowd. Sleeper, we are here. They're standing besides a bag which looks to carry all the possessions they have. It is small enough to be carried in one hand. You ready? Lem smiles nervously. Well, I guess so. He has a bag. Hope they'll let us take this on board. Got our whole life in here. You head over the Cellus ID to Lem, keeping your own. He turns it back and forth in the light. Where did your friend even get this picture, Sleeper? Looks like my old Conway ID. You look at the shimmering younger Lem stares out of the film. Harder and clean cut. I spoke to the guard here. He nods to the white and green clad security officer. Officer, they'll be doing orientation and role assignment on board. Sounds like we're going to be working under the core crew. Kind of like an intern, he laughs. What do you think, Meanie? Am I too old to be an intern? Following Lem's lead, you inspect your ID. As you lift up the film up to the light, you see something strange, something that makes you flinch. The face printed in the film is one you recognize immediately, but it is not you. At least it is not how you look now. You squint at this ghost, confused why you hadn't noticed earlier. It is a picture you remember being taken, a memory that you didn't know you had. You remember signing the forms and walking to the sleeper tanks, the cold metal floor. You remember that the SNRP employee who helped you in, her smile clean and surgical. You freeze in place thinking of the you that still sleeps somewhere in the SNR facility, that won't wake up until you are recovered and disposed of. Now you're leaving. Will they ever wake up? Wait, what? Oh, the current you. Sleeper Lem interrupts your thoughts. These guys want us to board. You stare at him without thinking. They notice the guard gesturing to you both to come forward. This is kind of like Severance. Like the work self and the real self. You all kick off and float over to them, steadying yourself on the guardrail. You hang back, letting Lem present his ID film first. The guard slices it across a white machine, much like the one Caster printed them for you. You reflexively rub your puncture mark on your hand. Even though there is no trace of it now, it seems to be you're destined to be someone else's tool. Lem and Mina or wave through, the guard smiling at her excited face. Lem turns back to you when you check you're coming. The guard beckons you closer. Wait. You wait a moment, but you need to wait for... wait for a moment, but you need to wait for a moment. What the fuck does that mean? You wait for a moment, you need to wait for a moment. Wow, W writing. This is all happening too fast, too much. There's so many questions you have. So many friends to catch hold of, and yet here you are boarding a ship to God, who knows where. That will take decades. Reconsider. Blah, blah, blah. My bad. Is this really what you want? How will you even survive? You suddenly feel dizzy, unsettled. You can make your concerned look on Lem's face as you hold back. The guard gestures again. Mina's eyes, looking back at you, are so bright in starlight. Stay on the eye. You can't do it. You can't get on that ship. You turn away quickly, trying not to look at Lem. You look at Mina, meet their eye. You turn away and kick off hard from the guardrail. When you reach the far wall, you turn back. The scene continues in front of you, as if nothing has changed. The next set of people are boarding. The crowd is still gathering in the corridor. The Cyril horizon still blinks, its yellow hole bright against the stars. And there are Lem and Mina gliding up towards the docking bridge, bag in hand. Lem is facing away, focused on the steady climb, but Mina is in his arm and is facing back towards you. You watch her face, confused tone but twinkling with a growing excitement as Lem carries her forward. As you watch Mina, you think about your future, about the future you might choose. You know one thing for certain, that future is on the eye. You no longer have any enthusiasm for being carried away forward by the dreams of others, for grand futures that unfold like angelic wings across the horizon. The future is being made now, and this spinning ring among its people and its system, you are sure of that now. But as you watch Mina disappear into the entrance of the Cyril horizon, and much later when you watch the ship pull away, you feel a sense of longing, a longing to be carried not by systems that spin the suns or the corporation that run the colonies, but by love towards an uncertain future, just as Mina was. Then you think, is the future you wish to make here on Erlin's Eye. Continue. Caster won't be happy, but I don't give a fuck. I'll punch you, bro. A strange choice. Caster stands beside you at the rail, watching the pinpricks of light from the Cyril horizon drives disappear. But perhaps not unexpected, you turn to look at Caster, is beaming at you with an unsettling warmth. Aren't you angry? About what? He squeezes your shoulder. Only wish for you to exercise that strong drive of yours. If it happens to align with my own, that is pleasing to me. But if it does not, I cannot punish you. Well, the Cyril. Caster looks out at the stars. I will do my best to follow its progress, he pauses. At least itself is of more concern. Cendre Celis has taken a step back from the public eye. It seems some internal struggles are playing out with their pristine halls, Caster sighs, but I doubt core politics are much concerning to you. Caster moves down the rail. The eye, though, that seems to be your primary concern, am I right? This is my home. He smiles broadly. Then we are fellow residents. He seems pleased. This place has been a good home for me. Though, like all places, it has its phases. Do not idle here too long, Sleeper, unless you wish to be once again caught in the movement of systems much bigger than yourself. Caster turns and starts to clunk away in his mag boots. I'll be keeping an eye on you, if you don't mind, Sleeper. He waves as he walks. My curiosity remains piqued. Once you leave, you stay a little longer on the rail watching the stars. Imagine the look on Mina's face when she sees Celis 1 for the first time. Imagine the excitement when she first touches its soil, the joy when she stands outside in the rain laughing. Those images, though they will not happen for decades, are what will carry you through the cycle and perhaps the next one too. Okay, that seems like very it's like they gave up with Caster, like the writing, like, oh yeah, I'm not mad at all. Like, we just did this crazy thing, but whatever, bro. You do you. Like, what? What the fuck? Alright, time to end the game, boys. The last arc. The finale. With the data sent, the only thing to do is wait. And as you do, you imagine Helene receiving the data, perhaps in the middle of some Havenge Council meeting. You think of her trembling hands as she slips out of the room to read it, her reaction you can't predict. You imagine Sol 2, one of his crew, fighting him in one of the corner of the Pilgrim seat, overseeing the modifications that will turn it into an arc. The sharp eyes scanning the data, looking for a way to proceed. The wait draws out, and to pass time, you watch activity beyond the edge of the eye. The scrap shuttles pulling components from the now bent cordon, and the supply skiffs making runs between the flotilla ships. It isn't long before you hear the chirping of Helene's now familiar drones approaching the viewing platform, and then Helene herself strides into the room. Where did you get this, Sleeper? Helene holds up a stage scrolling of the streams of flux data as she enters. I need to know your source. I need to know your source. Hello to you too. They bring me here for a reunion, I assume. Helene smiles a faint smile. Then you'll forgive me for skipping the pleasantries. She pauses and pushes her hair back out of her face. This allowed to take in a shadow protocol inside the flux, the system's CAN channel starting up, total collapse of the eye. She rubs her forehead. If I bring this to the council, Dale, she turns immediately. Do you know what has been happening within Havenge, Sleeper? She looks away at the flotilla. Since the refugee ships started arriving, things have changed. It's chaos. No one can settle on a single issue. There is a division at every vote, but in division only one group prospers, the hardliners. Because as each counselor gets tired of the arguments, gets tired of compromise, they become more attracted to easy answers. The flotilla is to blame, the refugees are opportunists, the eye must be defended, she shakes her head. And now you're telling me they brought something to the eye that will cause its collapse. Didn't bring it. Doesn't matter, Sleeper, this is all the counselors will hear. She closes her eyes, a hand to her temple. The irony is she's doing exactly what she's like, holding against the others. Many of them already presume the refugees are somehow to blame. Did someone say refugees? Sol clanks into the docking bay, grinning at the situation. Speak of the devil, and well, here I am. His suit hisses as he settles on his cane. Helene glances between the two of you, uncertain if she has drawn into some elaborate plan. Sol holds a hand to her. Sol, he nods. I believe we have spoken remotely while the cordon was still up. I sent you both the data. Sol laughs. Well, thank you. He raises an eyebrow. Evidence of our mutual inevitable destruction is not much of an olive branch, but I'll take it. I'm not Haven Age, Helene blurts out, then corrects herself. What I mean to say is no one person represents Haven Age. That is the idea. I did not support the cordon, and I did not support your quarantine. Sol nods. Well done. Sol glances at you. Anyone mind if I get myself up to speed here? He pauses. But you get the feeling he isn't expecting an answer. One, the flux events, the very same destabilizing waves that collapse the colonies on the moons of Ember have reached the station. He holds a stubby finger. Two, according to data Sleeper provided, these events are acting as a cover for some kind of intrusive protocol which is causing the real damage. A second finger joins the first. Three, shadow protocols will do the very same thing and did to Ember's song, step, and earth, and heart. Quickly. In short, it'll shut down everything keeping this place alive. A third finger pops up. 4, and this is my favorite, we have no idea Who or what is doing this and why? So Final Finger joins the other three. Is that the total of it all? There's also another Flux event coming. Of course there is. Soul smiles thinly. Sounds. Healing pauses, searching words, intimidating. Healing turns to Soul. Did you manage to put up any kind of resistance on Ember's heart? Soul shakes his head. That's why we are here. The Pilgrim team was the biggest ship to make it out unscathed. He pauses. I suppose we didn't have this data. We didn't know what was eating up our systems. We all thought it was the Flux. Healing looks at you, and I imagine you, Sleeper, and whoever helped you uncover this might be able to figure out a countermeasure. We can try. Healing does approval. Okay, so that's the start of it. If you'll forgive me, Saul cuts in. Part of why I was able to save as many as I could on Ember's heart was because I gave up hope early. Saul shifts his weight, his suit hissing. There were endless strategy meetings, system reboots, and test trials. Tests and trials, but I just got on with working on the Pilgrim Seed, with getting people on board. So when the second and the third of the rest of the Flux events hit, we were ready to go. So if I can offer some advice, Miss Not Havage, it is to give up on that line of thought you have, that hope, and to start the evacuation now, ride the cycle. Soul looks out of the observation deck towards the Pilgrim Seed. I've already started the process of converting the remaining volume of the Pilgrim Seed for human habitation. The Haven Age resources, I dare say, could finish the job with time to spare. Soul scratches at his beard. I know it's hard and I know it's sudden, but you have to give up hope. We have to run. There'll be no heroes here, just those that keep living and those that don't. Helene listens in silence, making calculations. She looks at you. She looks out at the bulk of the Pilgrim Seed, which, despite all its vastness, is dwarfed by the eye as a whole. Something flickers in her eye. She opens her mouth to speak. She stops frozen. Let me think, Helene rubs her temple. I need a moment. Helene paces. As you watch her, you realize how young she is and how lost she is in the systems and protocols she has to navigate, and you can almost see the strings and ties that bind her, glinting like webs in the wide space of the observation platform. We purged the shadow the protocol. Helene stops pacing, but with what resources? The data you sent me, this thing, a shadow, uncontrollable, untraceable. Perhaps with the full contingent of the Haven Age system department, but that would require hundreds of work orders to be overlooked. Maintenance schedules abandoned. She looks. Getting that through council, that would be even possible. She glances at Soul, who is patiently watching, patiently listening. We have to try. Helene looks at the slate again. I will take this to the council, force them to listen, force them to act. You both jump as someone loudly clears a throat. Nearby, your eyes jump to the dark entry that Helene emerged from minutes ago. Kemp, what a cozy little meeting this is. A man steps from the shadows dressed in the same style Havench overalls as Helene. And I must say, this is some very incendiary rhetoric you're using, Counselor Helene. You glance at Helene and her face drops immediately. Kemp, she curses under her breath. Soul shifts his weight on his cane, but otherwise remains still, like a casual observer, plotting against Haven Age with an interloper. He gestures at Soul. Everyone will be so disappointed. Kemp smiles a bright smile. Some of the counselors had such high hopes for our youngest member. His smiles drops. I of course never let novelty distract from the importance of experience. Helene stares daggers at Kemp. Enough of this petty shit, Kemp. You need to see this. She holds out her slate with an outstretched arm. The games are over. No more point scoring. No more lobbying. When your hardliners need to stop, this is something real. Calmly takes the slate and prods the screen, scrolling through the Flux data. His face betrays nothing, but you see some complex calculation flickering in his sharp eyes. Cam lowers his slate slowly and smiles at Helene. And what do you think this shows? Helen frowns. Don't play games, you can read. The Flux is a curious signal for some shadow protocol, most likely corporate in nature. Maybe it's Solheim re-emerging to claim their station. Maybe it's a takeover, but either way, the station is under threat. You're right about that, but the rest? Conjecture. Kemp rubs his chin. What we have here is a virus in our systems which emerged precisely when the flotilla arrived. In fact, it times perfectly with the mysterious event that freed them. So what I see is a hostile cyberware attack instigated by descendant that fled Emperor's Moon from after committing terrorist acts on their own soil. Kemp face darkens. That is the order of the facts, nothing else, nothing more. Speaking of speculation, can we kill him? Facts I will be happy to present to the council. Kemp tightens his grip on the slate. Helene laughs. You think that's the only copy of the data? You sanctimonious shit. No, I don't, Kemp smiles, but who do you really think they'll listen to, Helene? Especially after I tell everyone about this little clandestine meeting. You can win power by having systems. By our laws, we resort to this. Kemp shakes his head. The law is with me. It is as simple as that. He gestures, and out the shadows, 2 Havage security officers appear. Now, no need for that. Soul suddenly speaks up. His silence had meant Kemp had stopped playing it paying attention to him, but now you notice he has backup of his own. A group of his crew stands on the edge of the room. They are carrying long, boxy guns. You've never seen anything like them on the eye. Glossy expert logos along their barrels. These are Ash's gun. Cam freezes and the officers hesitate, holding him back in the doorway. Be careful, they're outsiders, he stutters. Kill me and Havage will never forget. Sol waves his hand. No one is killing anyone, so let's calm down. Sol scratches his beard, but I'm going to have to ask you to leave. Helen glances at him and he gives her a gentle nod. And you'll leave your colleague here with me, here is Abra. We haven't finished our conversation. Camp laughs and shakes his head. You're finished, Helene. The castle will never allow you back after this. Then he turns and walks out of the observation deck, taking his officer with him. You'll pause to catch your breath. Helene looks ready to collapse. Sol flexes inside his suit, nodding at his crew to check that Camp has fully retreated. Sol wrenches part of his suit back into place, grimacing. Your friends leave a lot to be desired. He shoots a glance at Helene. Seems like support for evacuation might be hard to ask. Helene doesn't respond. She stares out at the pilgrim seat once more, trying to process what's in front of her. She sighs and turns back to you both. I won't call for an evacuation. She looks at Sol. Maybe that is a fatal mistake, but I can't do it. Understand. But she pauses. I won't block it either. If people want to leave, Havenage will let them. That is what I will propose to council. She says, if they'll let me speak. You have to try. She nods at you. Sol and returns to leave. Sol is quiet. He scratches at his beard. Good luck. He offers to the departing Helene, but she did not respond. He leans on his cane. I'll be honest with you, Sleeper. None of this changes anything for me. Pilgrim will be going in a handful of cycles, whether Havage wants it or not. How long? Sol Grim says, honestly, as soon as we are ready, I'm not eager to run down the clock to the last cycle. Sol puts a hand on his shoulder. There's a berth for you, and for any you can gather, Sleeper. And not much I own yet, Helene. I wouldn't hold out much hope of her coming around, Sleeper. She's too hype on all this, and it won't let her leave, even if she wants to. He eyes you. Hell, I'd say the same about you, but you have a habit of proving me wrong. My crew will take me from here. Don't worry. Sol straightens up. I'll thank the Sleeper for sending me the data. I appreciate the extra info, and I'll see it could help us shore up the Pilgrim against any future Flux events. If we had you back on Ember's heart, he pauses, suddenly losing his appetite for discussing the past. Sol sighs. Of course, we're going to need the help we can get. If you can spare some time, come to the Pilgrim seat. Help me be ready. Help me get it ready. Bring others. There's a future to be earned here, cycle by cycle. We will be leaving as soon as we are able. If you want to help us get there faster, you'll be welcome. He meets your eye. Well, he pauses. Just don't keep me waiting. He limps off towards the waiting crew. You pause for a moment, let your thoughts catch up. Peak will want to hear about all this. They should be your first port of call. Is that my only option? Fleeing? Bruh, well that's lame. Bruh, what the fuck, bruh? As you enter the climbing bar, you immediately have to jump aside as Ash, nudging a massive crate across their cargo bay, pushes past you, grunting and apology as she does. Reminds me of when we met. Ash sniffs and doesn't look back. As you turn back to the bay, Peak pushes past too. Sorry, Sleeper, just a second. Peak rushes to catch up with Ash. Put that down, please, Ash. But she doesn't respond to her urging. We can't leave, not yet. Peak puts a hand on her shoulder. Please, I'm the only one here who can. The crate drops, the sound of its impact echoing around the bay like thunder. Can do what, Peak? Her eyes are burning with anger. Save this place? Are you still that naive? We are running, Peak. We're running because this thing cannot be stopped. It couldn't be stopped at XPR, our home. Why would we stay to stop it here? Because we can, Ash. We can give these people a chance. Peak pleads with her. Like they gave refugees a chance? Ash shakes her head. No, Peak, this is not us. We barely made it out of XPR. I worked for years to escape and now you want to throw it away? I left everything, my father, my friends, to take you out of that place. She clenches her jaw. She turns to slam her hand onto the crate. Before we go, that's the end of it. Peak turns away. You feel unsure what to do, but you know now is not the time for outside arguments. This is between them. Peak crosses the bay back towards you. I'm sorry you had to see the Sleeper. The silence stalk upstairs. Ugh. This is dragging on, no lie. Ugh. Peak leads you to the entry ladder, taking you up out of the bay and into the habitation level of the ship. You follow them through the tight corridors, noticing the handwritten notes, the clutter, the repairs, the signs of a home. Here sit, Peak gestures to the broad mess table with its curved counters. You slide in on one side. Peak sits opposite. They brush their hair out of their eye and take a deep breath. So how did it go? What did it say? I've been waiting all cycle. How Helene said she'll support your efforts to find a countermeasures for the Shadow Protocol. Okay, keep people pleased. That sounds good, much better than I was hoping. But what about the council? Are they behind that, or will she operate alone? Tell them about the camp. Peak looks increasingly troubled as you tell them about the hardline counselor camp's sudden appearance. Damn. Then Helene's going to have problems of her own to deal with. Peak snakes their head. Looks like we won't be able to count on anything from Havage. They pause. Let's stop Cam from arresting her. Tell them about the guns. Peak rolls her. Of course, those are the guns Ash managed to smuggle through to the refugees. Else she didn't tell us about. Peak size. Another thing that's on us. What's on us? Ash is standing quietly at the doorway listening. Know how long she has been there for. Peak looks up at her with tired eyes. Sleeper found the weapons you smuggled for XPR. Ash freezes. She glances between you as if this might be some elaborate joke. The flotilla used them. Ash moves out of the doorway and enters the room. What happened? Peak interrupts. Be thankful that they didn't. They used them as a threat. That is all. Good. Ash folds her arms. You get the feeling that she knows Peak will not approve. Peak goes to speak and then decides not to take the bait. They glance up at you. I'm sure you've heard enough of arguing the cycle. Peak shoots to look at Ash, but our introduction of those weapons into the equation are just another reason why we cannot simply run away. Ash looks away but says nothing. She surely knows that they cannot absolve themselves of responsibility here. So what is motivating her? You realize that she still might be trying to protect Peak even from themselves. Suddenly a shrill beeping fills the room and Peak pulls out their slate to silence it. But as they do, they freeze, a finger hovering above the screen. The beeping continues. Its insistent pulse. What? Is it the flux? Peak doesn't seem to hear you. They blink with glazed eyes at the slate. Then they let out a long exhale and tap the screen. The bleeping shuts off, leaving a ringing silence behind. Ash frowns at Peak, planning to explain. 12 cycles. Peak looks vacantly at you. 12 cycles until the next flux event. They shake their head. I've been using the arrays of on the bar to look towards the center of the system to approximate where the CAN channel should be. Just this moment, they detected a signal from the inner system. Given the distance and the pattern of previous flux events, we have 12 cycles before it reaches the eye. The silence in the room is deafening. 12 cycles, that's it, before a second wave hits this place. Peak interrupts your thoughts. We start now. That's the end of it. Peak stands up. Face Ash. You want to take the briar and run, Ash? That's on you, but I won't do it. They take a deep breath. I'll be here, Sleeper, for every cycle it takes, trying to find a solution. I'll need your help. Their eyes meet yours, and you see wild desperation flickering there. We will find something. The sooner we have a plan, the better. If it takes us 12 cycles to fix this thing, it'll be too late. Peak eyes flash with determination. Try to reach for a slate, and you pass it to you, so we can keep in touch. You pocket the fin handle terminal, and Ash Peak starts, but she is gone, storming down the corridors of the ship on the path to who knows where. Dude, Ash is such a one-dimensional character. Holy shit. You know from experience that it is impossible to outrun your fears, but you get a sense that Ash will try anyway. Peak rubs her eye, the red eyes, staring at Ash. Staring after Ash. Maybe I'll take a moment before we start. They smile weakly, tears of exhaustion gathering in their eyes. See you back here soon, okay? As you slip from the room into the corridor, Peak's white sobs, somehow carrying through the ship behind you as you leave. Peak beckons you over the wide mess table where they have set up a terminal. The hours of bleary-eyed work have left you both drained, and Peak looks ready to collapse. You slide onto the curved couch beside them, something dark and malevolent filling their screen like an oil stain. Peak eyes seem to glitter in the screen light. This isn't what you think, Sleeper, not by a long shot. You look again at the screen, leaning in close to the dark curved shape of its texture. You see whirls and currents like a river, a dark flow like the Shadow Protocol's rectangle. You know exactly what this is. You have swum in this river, almost drowned in its shifting flow. It is the Gardener's Chorus, the dark cloud which blankets the Greenways networks, the bioorganic morass of malfunctioning protocols grown vast and strange. The Gardener. Peak glances at you. How do you... They pause. Have you met them? I have. Peak shakes her head. Incredible. Then perhaps you won't be surprised by what I'm about to propose. Peak meets her eye. Everything I have tried to do contains the Shadow Protocol has been a failure. It slips through any containment, absorbs any countermeasure. That unfortunately is an unavoidable fact. And yet the eye still spins. The Shadow Protocol is being slowed, partially contained. It has spread across the station, but as we have seen, it has been reduced, but in reduced pockets and fragments. So I started to look outside of our test cases, outside of these fragments we have been poking and prodding out in our little lab. Peak smiles and look what I found. Peak taps a key on their terminal and you realize the screen is showing a recording of the data flowing inside the eye's network, sampled from hundreds of points around the greenway. You watch as a subtle shift occurs at the edge of the flowing dark curve that blankets the greenway. Something spreading like a ink stain, somehow darker than the black, it bleeds across the Shadow Protocol. Now watch. Peak eagerly points to the screen, and you see something strange. A fizzing on the edge of the shadow, a sparkling, and then it is gone. Beneath for a moment, a millisecond, you see into the networks of the greenway. You're reminded of an image you had forgotten, a pulling of a plant from its spot and seeing a bone white root ball where it was expected to see Dark Soul. The white connections arrive like worms, and then it is gone again, dark flow collapsing up as quickly as it opened. It dissolved the shadow exactly, Peak nods, it protected itself. You think back at your meeting with the gardener to that sense of something old in the world and inhuman to its core. Boonga, come here. Oh, this little baby. Come here. Come here, baby. Oh, he's so cute. He's so cute. He's so cute. Да, делай мне чай, пожалуйста, мам. Peak excitedly starts to explain, this is the only chance we have, the only countermeasure we have seen. And the moment it opened, I detected something, a centralized intelligence with local ID Gardener. This protocol, the system, whatever it is, can protect its network from the Shadow Protocol. But if it stays in the greenway, the eye will still fail. The station systems are too exposed, too spread out across the hub. The shipyards, the spokes. Peak glances away. The only way is to break it open, to spread the entity's network access to expand it. Peak pauses. Peak stands up and walks away a little. They lean against the countertop, their head hanging so low that their long hair touches the work surface. You hear them breathing deeply. I don't know, Sleeper. They their head. I really don't know. It's a chance. Maybe. They shake their head. You know as well as Peak that this is it. You know it because over the past cycles you have run every simulation, every possibility you can think of, and still coming up with nothing. You have stared a hole into your screen and dreamt of that black shadow creeping in at the edges of your vision. Peak recognizes the look in your eyes, the potent cocktail of resignation and anger. Let's say we do this, Peak begins, eyeing you carefully. What do we need? To begin the answer, don't question, thinking out loud. Oh, Boonga, your paws are like dirty with fucking litter again. Oh, this cat is so nasty, bro. Nasty kitty. But he's so cute. They begin to answer, don't question. Suppose we need to find two things. Find a way to limit or control the gardener's spread, and then reconnect the greenway. Peak starts pacing, the idea coming quickly now. Controlling the spread means preparing the station, limit the gardener's network to the key systems. We don't want it taking everything, we just need it to protect the station's core functionality. Then we need to reconnect the greenway, hook it back up to the main line of the network. Those systems be prepared. They should connect the gardener and the gardener will spread along. Oh, Boonga. Don't touch me with your dirty legs. So cute. So cute. He likes to be with me when I game. Such a cute cat. I love him. Oh, he just hit the mic. At least that is my theory, P grimaces, but if you don't prepare correctly, the gardener might not spread, or it might spread to everything. P close the right, and after that, things might get worse. It can't be worse than total collapse, don't say it, Sleeper. P sits back at the terminal and brings a map of the eye. Rotational control at the hub, life support, and free spoke. Power routing and Haven shipyards. They stab at the map with each one, marking them in red. Then there's the central core. As I understand, it is somewhere on the rim. I need to find it. Put your hair out onto their face. We see the gardener in all of these places. Peak pauses, but how are we going to do that? Of course, the gardener needs to plant secure of, and this is what their protocol dictates. They must have been part of the farming management system of the Eye back when Solheim built it. When he Greenway plants in those systems, and the gardener will seek them out, protect them. Peak stares at the map of the Eye. It's a wild idea, but it could work. But they pause will need a way into those systems. Havenage must have most of them locked down. For safety purposes, we can't just walk in. I know a guy. Peak raises an eyebrow. Someone in Havenage's systems team? You nod. And after everything he dragged you through, you feel like Fang still owes you? Time to pay him a visit. True. Okay, well, Peaks looks at you sideways. I guess we should pay him a visit either way. We'll leave the ship, blah blah blah. The finale, boys and girls. All the girls watching. Where's Fang? He's gone again, bro. Can I buy pills again or no? No, that's over. Yeah, that's over. I need to grow them. Fuck. Let's sleep. That's it, no one wasting time. Peak sighs and pulls out their slate. They crack open a box on the side of the base shutter and wire the slate to what's inside. Maybe your friend has a Havenage pass card or something inside. Peak shoots you a glance. Something they won't mind we borrow. Fine, but be quick. Peak nods while looking up. I'm going as quick as I can. After a few tense moments, the shutter jerks and begins grinding open, the noise making you jump. Let's get inside. Peak glances around quickly. You slip into the dark of the bay, punctured by blinking lights. A Fang's pile of servers, somehow even more disordered than before. Ты можешь принести, мам, на бунга на мне лежит. Bunga, chill. Bebê, você tem. Oh shit, I just realized I wasn't reading out loud, fuck. Oh, whatever. I see. I see. I need a shit ton of spores. Alright. Is there a facility on here? I don't think so, no? Wait, what? Oh, I didn't need that much. I thought it was 3 per breath. Oh, that's on me. Oops. Wow. So he's behind all this. Well, in part. Damn, boy. I think this guy, what's his name? Caster, I think he, I think maybe like SNR has some technology to like freeze sleepers, like to control them. I'm guessing he has access to that technology. Right? Let's repair ourselves so we don't have to use any shipping being in the near future. We're probably gonna die, aren't we? To save the eye. Let's interface because we get Moni. Those are some nice rolls, bro. Lost a bit of energy, that's fine. Okay, next up. We didn't finish though, what the fuck? Bomboclat. There's no way Caster would just like let us do this, no? Won't Brochacho try to kill us? Huh? Be like, you've done too much. You're a prisoner. I don't know. What just happened? What the fuck? Gotta go eat. Give me a sec, boys. I'm hungry. Should I just steal? Oh no, he dies. Oh, okay, there's a lot of shit to do, but we got a lot of time. We're low-key like maxed out, bro. So Okay. If I get good rolls, we should be fine. Oh, those are some pretty good rolls, I think. Should I finish this? Yeah, I think that's a good idea. That's done. That's an interesting perspective. I'm starting to reconsider staying because look, from the perspective of our character, right? Who do we know? Like who? Why would we stay here? It's for the people. Who do we even know who's still here? Fang. We're not really friends with him, are we? Lemon Mina left. Bliss left. There's Moritz. Who else? Oh, there's also the Emphis. Tala. Never mind. And it's like I know those people deeply, the ones on the flotilla. I'm just there like providing work basically. You know what I mean? So like I get along with them, quote unquote, if that makes sense. My god, finally some good fucking writing! Okay. I'm actually conflicted. Ugh! So far, the rest of the writing was pretty easy. Cause they kind of left plot holes. Like example, leaving on the bliss. Is there any like, and is there any guarantee that we get stabilizers? Cause dude, no stabilizer, we're dead, right? Just like logically. Oh, what else was there? Leaving on the side rail also. How the fuck are we gonna stay alive? They don't have stabilizers there. We can't go, bro. We're just gonna die. Okay, that's two. Was there another way to leave? Oh yeah, joining the green guy. Just killing yourself, basically? I'm good. Oh, I'm watching Pluribus right now. It's kind of like Pluribus, the Gardener's thing. So that's 3 of the endings, right? Am I missing one? Let me check my achievements. Am I missing one? This could make a really good movie. Like this, it's very conflicting because on one hand, like for 2/3 of the DLC, the episodes, let's say, you've been running around doing everything you can to save the eye. Not really thinking about should I leave, blah 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 blah, right? All that stuff, all about what's going on right now. Like maybe it's a good idea to leave. Why am I doing all this? Like we're just like I mean, it's a video game, so obviously you're just gonna do it to do it. But like, let's put yourself in the shoes of the character, right? You're just doing it to do it. You don't really think about it too deeply. Like, should it even be done? You're just doing it. You're just doing it. Now we're here, and we're sitting with the choice of we can save, we can stay on the eye, or we can leave to perhaps a greener pasture. We have the stabilizers that will grow on that ship. The Whisper's Long Shadow, I think, whatever the fuck, right? Like right now, it's totally feasible to leave. Like you won't die in transit, basically. Like it'll be chill. A lot of the people you know are also leaving. It's just like I'm just imagining like if like this arc could be a movie, 100%. Like at the end, maybe if Emphas doesn't leave, I'm just imagining a scene like a bittersweet scene where you and Emphas go back to the bar. You both have cups in your hands, both drinking, both eating some food, and just say, and I don't know, it'd be just like such a bittersweet moment. You know what I mean? Kind of saying goodbye to all these people, deciding to stay. One part from being stubborn, one part because I don't know. I really don't know what I'm gonna choose. What do I do all the time now? No drives. Let's look at the completed drives. Sheesh! We've been gaming, boys. Is there nothing else to do? The ship left. There's nothing even to spend the dice on, so I guess we just wait. Let's go work on the bliss, I guess. Rack up more money. Even though it's really useless. Good writing. I'm actually conflicted. Well done. Like so far in the game, the writing hasn't been like very nuanced. Like, you know what I mean? It's always like corporation bad, which I kind of agree with, but whatever. Corporation bad, people good, trust everyone. You know what I mean? There's just literally nothing to do. Literally nothing. Let's steal some food. Is there an achievement for that? Huh. So if you steal, you can't work at the stacks. Oh no! I can't believe it. So I just wait? I guess I'll just roll for... Okay, I know what to do. So I have one stabilizer, yep. Okay, I guess we just wait now. Literally nothing else to do. Alright, that's fine. Finally. Oh, had I known? Ah. Oh, here he is. Should I trust him? I know that this game literally, like, you never get punished for trusting someone. So I'm like 80% sure if I just listen to him, he won't try to like mind control me. Kazoo, kazoo, kazoo. Nah, I'm not even gonna get like IRL. I'm not giving him the time of day. What do we do now? What do we do now? What do we do now, bro? Bro, cha cha, cha cha, cha 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 cha. Oh, I think this is where I make the choice. Fuck! Damn, we're almost right at the 3-hour mark. Holy, it's been an adventure, boys. How long have I been playing? How long have I been playing? 14 hours. Dude, I've done like all the content of the game, bro. I'm a gamer. Fuck! Ah! What do I choose? Yeah. All right, developers, this is good writing. You got me. I'm conflicted. You got me. Okay, good job. You got me. You've got me, lads. You've got me. You've given me a conundrum that I can't escape from with easy reasoning. Part of me wants to stay and part of me wants to leave. Hey, part of me wants to stay and part of me wants to leave. Hey! Fuck. Damn! Gut instinct, stay. Everything logical in my head, leave! Leave! Pragmatically, leave. But my heart is telling me to stay! Huh. You know what they say, mate? Follow your heart. I hear your heart beat to the beat of the drums. Enough trolling. Okay. I think I'm gonna stay, bro. I think I'm gonna stay. Why are you staying, bro? I don't know. Just feels like the right thing. This is good, bruh. This is some good ending, bruh. I'm staying! I'm staying. I'm staying. I'm staying! Good luck out there, gang. Here I've made connections. Over, like, to them, I'm not just a tool, but like, I'm just like a workhorse. Here I've met people that I care about. In-game, I'm staying. Did we fail? So this is the eye. I'm having chills! Wow! That was good. That was good. The DLC was worth it. Good job. Okay. Without the DLC, the game was like... I liked it, but it wasn't great. The DLC... Ooh, hoo, hoo. That was good. That was really good. Wow. Good shit, bro. Good shit. That was good. That was good. I got chills, bro. I got chills. It's been a while since I got chills from a fucking game. Damn. Damn, that was good. That was good, my friends. Woo. Woo. Good job, devs. Yo, if the game had that quality of writing throughout, masterpiece. But still very good. I won't say it's a masterpiece, but still very, very good. But if they could, like, if that quality of writing, like, write that on the DLC, if they kept that up for literally the entire game, oh, this game would be like really, really like one of the all-time greats. Because some of the writing was a bit weaker in the early on, but made d'applaudissement. Round of applause. That was really good. That was good. Jump over the age. Is that? Games like Gareth Damian Martin. That was good, man. That DLC. Ooh, I got chills. That was nice. That was really good. No, I don't even want to know what the fuck the other ending was. I'm happy with my ending. That was good. Woo! Alright guys, thank you for joining me on this beautiful journey into outer space and the future. Now, maybe it's gonna happen. Who knows? Maybe our future. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm sorry I didn't read towards the end there, but I just fucking locked in. I just locked in towards the end. I'm sorry guys, okay? Anyways, thank you for joining me. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Hopefully you enjoyed that ending section as much as I did. That was really good. Well, very well done. Kudos to you developers. Wow. That was a really good ending. That was a really good ending. Anyways guys, thanks for joining me once again. Hope to see you guys around. On to the next one.